before. I gave a masterclass in handling negativity bias. So I could have let them go, but everybody needed to feel, because that's what it feels like. I wanted everybody to feel it so you could feel what that feels like and stay in your frontal lobe. Stay in your frontal lobe. That's what the whole point was. As long as you stay in your frontal lobe, they are ineffective. As soon as you allow your amygdala to get hijacked, you went from it, because remember, one of the principles of real leadership is to be a thermostat, not a thermometer. So a thermostat sets the temperature. So as soon as I called him sir and mister, what brings you here? Good morning. I changed the narrative immediately. Yes, Sidekick converted quickly yesterday. So I changed the narrative. I changed the temperature of what he was doing. And I gave him an opportunity to account for his first sentence. And he never did, which is why I changed the temperature to start to get him to become more defensive. I did that on purpose because he was being personally unaccountable. And when you do that, that's when the attacks come. You over here and see, this is why why is everybody so angry and all of this. And so when it's in black and white and you can't hear the person and you can't see the person and all you can do is have their words there, that's the difference. Because as soon as I started imitating Kevin, you understood how that could take place in person. Okay, Regina, I'm visual learning and I saw you maintain tone and body language in addition to word choice. That was not inflammatory. Exactly. Because y'all know I could be like, motherfucker, get the fuck off my live, bitch. But then I would have been in my amygdala. I wouldn't have been, but I could have said that. And then he was like, yeah, I got it. And so we have Mr. Kevin and Mr. Boogerman going at the same time, but they were both lessons in conformity bias, confirmation bias, cognitive bias, and beauty bias, all wrapped up in one. So Boogerman wants to keep it on my aesthetics. He just want to keep it on my aesthetics because so I can feel uncomfortable. That's not going to work, because I know neurologically what is taking place. And that is the purpose of all of these lives every morning, is because it is neurological. It's not psychological. Because if you just use psychological, it's like, oh, well, he's a perv because he keeps saying these things to me. But why? The question is why? Why did Kevin come over here this morning? Because Kevin has this inhibition effect, and Kevin's life isn't going well in real life. So online, he gets to be a thumb thug. And I call them thumb thugs. It's this inhibition effect where you get to say whatever you want online and nothing happens to you because you have to go back to your meager existence. But you don't get to come into my comment section and not give an account for the things that you are saying. So if he had apologized, I'm sorry. That's what Sidekick did yesterday. Apologizing when you are wrong is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So you can stay. But if you come over here with some nonsense and some bullshit, I will use you as an example. And as Darnetta mentioned, you getting a ticket to the block party. And now you will never have access. And there's no one else in the world teaching you how to use your brain to your advantage for you to become your best. There is no one else. Because if there was, I would be researching the shit out of the research that they already have. So that is what's taking place. You said Dr. Donna is a beast. Because they were the actual lesson. And sitting in that uncomfortableness, as I asked the other day, do you handle conflict when it occurs? That was an actual conflict. And the only reason why it didn't get more conflictual is because I maintained my frontal lobe. I could have popped off and then we would have had a problem. And that is what's happening, is as soon as it happens, people know, based upon my aesthetics, I should be able to say something about middle-aged women, black women, people from the streets, your Midwestern accents. There's a bunch of stuff that you could pick to try to pick me apart. You is not a doctor. All of those things should start a fight, flight, freeze, or appease response, because you're living in negativity bias and you're living in your amygdala. So if that's where you live, this is what you expect. But when you move, when you upgrade and go move to your frontal lobe, with your guarded gated community that you live in, okay, with the security, you got guarded gated, called your frontal lobe with your boundaries and perimeters around you. Now people can't get to it. They cannot get to your amygdala because it's fortified. And now you use your amygdala for what it was actually